I am here with my beautiful wife. You now can see her. She's in the passenger seat. And we are going to do a interview together. She has some questions for me about the current real estate market and what we're looking like on interest rates, market data, and things that can help our sellers sell their properties. So we're going to go ahead and jump into some questions. She's ready to go.
Well, let's just start with a funny one.
A funny one?
Yes.
Okay.
So what's the most unrealistic expectation you've heard from a buyer or seller?
Most unrealistic expectation. Well, I have had someone in the past say that their property was worth an astronomical amount, and they wanted me to take the listing and they wanted me to push it so hard and market it, and it was so far out of line for market value that I didn't even take the listing. I said, hey, I really appreciate your time. I wish you the best. I hope you have a wonderful day. I spent, I think, close to 2 hours with the seller, just trying to go back and forth on what would be best to actually sell for market value, and they wanted well above market value. And for some listings, listing higher and then coming down does work. But for this listing, it really wasn't a very unique property, and the guy was wanting just an astronomical amount, so I had to walk away.
So everyone knows that the interest rates are kind of doing crazy things, and that's what's on everyone's minds when they're trying to sell their home. How would you describe it as a personality type, the market right now?
I'd say a monkey. It's like a monkey swinging, and he's got hand joined in hand with Tarzan. Yeah, it's like we were coming down and we were ascending down the tree, and then all of a sudden we grabbed onto another vine and then started swinging back up. So we were 5.99% interest rates coming down into the fives, and now we're starting to ascend. Obviously, the war in Iran right now, it's not helping things, but it's not necessarily hindering things. And why do I say that? Because spring this year is actually busier than spring last year, even though we've got all of what's going on right now in the world. Last year we were at 6.6 to 6.85% interest rates, and now we're in a better spot than that on interest rates. And people can say whatever they want about what drives the market, but the main delineating factor that drives the market is interest rates. And we're still seeing movement. It's just not as much as it was when we were in the fives.
For yourself personally, if you were looking to sell your house right now with the market how it is, would you wait, or would you capitalize on the markets how they are now?
To sell my property right now, there's always speculation on what could happen in the near future. I will say this, that the springtime is often one of the best times to capitalize to get the most amount of money out of your home. So you could say, oh, I'll wait, but March, April, May, these 3 months are killer months to get the most out of your home for equity. So, we could say that's interest rate driven, but oftentimes it's seasonality driven as well. As the season of the year is something to say, and you can time the volatility of the market, but we have had a lot of people get pre-approved that still have those pre-approvals even after we had the interest rate hike. So, some sellers are just really, really scared about this whole situation and interest rates. But if you think about seasonality, now is the best time of the year to be putting your house on the market.
What's something buyers think matter that actually doesn't matter at all?
What buyers think that matters? I mean, the biggest thing is, if you find the house that you love, there's a statement in real estate called, you marry the house, you date the rate. And if you can find the perfect house and it's the ideal one for you and your family, bedroom size, bathroom size, you can always date the rate. And a lot of people don't talk about this, but you can actually buy your rate down. So a rate buy down is buyer agent comes to the table with their buyer client, and because the market right now, there is some leverage on negotiating room, the buyers can negotiate for their interest rate to come down 1 or 2 points. 3-2 buy one, 3-2 buy down, 2-1 buy down. So buyers always, they can be fickle about the interest rates, but I've seen buyers previously, they were spending 12, 13%, 15% even in the 80s, and now we're at 6%, 6.5%. We're in a world better place interest rate wise, because the average interest rate for the last 20 to 30 years has been between that 6 to 8 percentile. So we're really right in line with where a healthy market should be regarding interest rates.
What's your most controversial real estate opinion?
My most controversial real estate opinion. Probably the most controversial is you have to price where the market is. And where we're at right now, we are not in the 2 and 3% interest rates. We are in a place where we have to price according to what things will actually sell now. So I don't really have anything like extremely political or extremely alien driven, but the biggest controversial is where the market is saying that we are in regards to pricing, comparable sold data, statistics. We have to be in line with that, otherwise people are going to be hurting because they list too high and then they end up selling less or much less than where they actually want to be.
So you go into a lot of people's homes, whether they're selling or they're buying, and what's the strongest smell you've ever had to pretend didn't exist?
Oof. Well, you were in that house with me. The cat house?
Mm-hmm.
It was a cat prison is what it was. And we had, I think she had, 10 cats? 10 or 20 cats? And it was like literal prison for all of these cats. And it smelled like ammonia right out of the gate. So this was one of our flip properties, actually, that we ended up buying. And we bought it for a really good deal. All we really had to do was tear out the carpets, paint the walls, we replaced the flooring, we did some woodwork, painted the garage door, we got a new roof on the place, deep cleaning, and we sold it, made a really good profit off of it, but that was horrible. Yeah, it was a cat prison.
Do you prefer if clients are texting or calling you, or both?
I mean, if they can't get I prefer call, honestly. Some people want to do the text game, and that's fine, but somebody, if they need to get a hold of me, just call me. My number is 502-322-2110, and I mean, that's the biggest thing, is just like, it's become an age of AI and messages and Facebook Messenger and all these things, but the easiest way to connect with someone and at least get a hold of me is just call me. And then if you don't get a hold of me via call, just text me or leave me a voicemail. But I prefer just face-to-face or just lip to ear, because I know that this market is shifting away from AI. Because everything is like, it's the rave, the AI rave and the AI society. But if technology breaks, there's going to be a person to put everything back together, and there's become a significant amount of distrust around AI right now.
For sellers, can they still do research with AI, do you think, or is that advisable?
For sure, absolutely. I love sellers who are educated on the market, because they often make the selling process easier for me, because they actually understand what their valuation is worth. They also understand how that I, as a professional, will list their home and get the home sold properly. So I love sellers who do a lot of research. It's just like if you're going to buy something off Amazon, you're going to look at the reviews. And anytime that you look for a good real estate agent, you should be looking up to see who's the best option for me in our region. So yes, by all means, if a seller has technology at their hands, if they can use it, And a lot of times we hear, oh well, the whole conversation of for sale by owner, but the true reality is that 95% to 98% of homes that try and list for sale by owner, they end up getting into the hands of a real estate agent, because it's not just about going under contract, it's about getting to the under contract and then getting to the closing. I had a client that they had their house on the market, I think it was like 3 to 6 months. They had somebody that said that was going to buy the property and ended up stringing them along, and then it really impacted them negatively. So I ended up getting the listing. We went under contract in under 36 hours, and it was from a professional approach versus just hoping there's going to be a buyer that comes.
What systems or habits have made the biggest difference in your growth?
Biggest system and habit is a daily schedule and living to my calendar and not letting things come into my calendar to stress me out. So my schedule is just sticking to my schedule, and when clients need to get a hold of me, and having an assistant alongside of me that can also help when the lead flow gets so strong, and being able to manage my listings properly.
What's the best thing about EXP so far?
Best thing about EXP so far has been them allowing me to build my brand the way I want to build it. I know there's a lot of red tape at different times and different brokerages, and you name it. I'm not going to name specifics. I'm thankful for every brokerage out there, but EXP has been very good about letting me build our company the way that I feel that we should build it, and even having a local office in our region and having our clients just be able to come to our office and us sit down and talk about their needs and their desires within the office. EXP has allowed us to be liquid, and the coolest thing is just having the top 1% of real estate agents, not only in our state but in the nation, that are able to coach me.
So let's say there's a new agent and they just got their license, they just signed up for everything with their local real estate association and everything. Now what would you recommend to them in that position?
I would say to any new agent, they need to look past the fluff of real estate. There's a lot of fluff in this business, and agents say, hey, post on social media and talk to your friends and your family and pester them constantly. And then there's the create cute little videos on Canva or whatnot. And there's just so much distraction in this business. So I would say focus on contacting and setting appointments versus trying to do all the fluff, because the biggest thing in real estate is you have to produce in order to be attractive. So newer agents, they want to be, I see this often, is they want to be the diva because real estate is cool and they can post videos, and realtors make all this money because they post videos and stuff. And that's good and that's great, and I love video content because that's what this is. Video should follow production. So if you can produce at a high level and sell millions and millions of dollars of real estate, then you have something to tell other agents and the world about your production. But if you can't sell real estate and you can't produce, then you need to focus on that first. And if you can sell millions of dollars of real estate, then other people will say, this person's reputable. So I say for newer agents, get past the fluff of wanting to be this diva and help homeowners actually buy and sell real estate.
So going back to when you were first a new agent and you had your very first showing, were you nervous at all?
I wouldn't say nervous, but I was apprehensive because I didn't fully understand the process. So yeah, I mean, I was a little apprehensive. I wouldn't say nervous. I was confident, but I was not fully understanding of the process.
So for someone that's new still, if it took them 6 months of being in the business, doing all the things that they should, getting the contacts, what should they expect as far as commission and everything like that? Like, how long does it take to really build up your personal brand?
it comes down to mentorship. If you don't have a good mentor when you first start in this business, you are going to struggle and you will be floundering trying to figure it out. Why do I say that? Because that was me. When I first got into the business, I was trying everything under the sun. And I had people talk to me about like, hey, you need to make contacts and you need to reach out to people. And I was like, oh yeah, that's good. And I'll just talk to them at different events, or I will post on social media about me being in real estate. And that's great and that's good. But that was more marketing centric versus actually contacting people. So first 6 months in the business, if you don't have a good mentor, someone to just shoot it to you straight and just tell you, hey, this is what you need to do to be successful, then you'll struggle. But if you get the right mentorship that shows you the game plan on how to actually win, it will make all the difference for you and your family.
Switching gears to clients, how much do you really need for a down payment on average?
It depends what type of loan. Some loans, if you have like a VA loan, for example, you can get 0% down, FHA, 3.5% down, conventional, 20% down. There's opportunities for down payment assistance as well. If we can negotiate, if I'm, let's say, representing the buyer and we can negotiate for closing costs, then there are opportunities for a 0% down payment.
When buying a home, what are some hidden costs people are maybe not aware of?
When buying a home, biggest thing is obviously closing costs. And if you're looking at closing cost calculators, I would first tell you to talk to your lender and determine what type of closing costs that would associate with your loan. But then outside of that, repairs in buying a property is, if you buy a property and there's thousands of dollars to make repairs on that property and you just glaze over the inspection report without diving deeply into that, that can really bite a buyer very hard.
What's the first step in buying a home?
First step in buying a home, I say that a lead is a need. So some people just say, oh, we need a lead, we need a lead, we need a lead. Well, we need to find the need. And first off is lifestyle is I need to make a move. If it's a desire of a want is still a need because you're wanting to change something in your life. So first step is identifying, do I really need to move? And then outside of that, conjoined is, can I afford it? So talking to your professional lender, not a lender that's in and out of the business, but someone who's fully dedicated to the business. So the need or lead is attached to the financing. So talking to a professional lender to make sure that you can actually afford it by being pre-approved, or if you have the cash.
How long does the whole process usually take?
Lenders, if you have a good lender, they could get you approved within days to a week. And it just depends if you've already been looking. If you've already been seeing multiple different houses on the market, just zooming through online, I'm finding that buyers, they get approval, they're ready to put an offer within a day or two. So it's all situational, but I mean, within 24 hours to 48 hours to a week, someone could get pre-approved and be ready to make an offer.
How do people choose the right agent?
There's a lot of things to consider when choosing an agent. I see agents, this is happening a lot in the real estate field. And you know me, I'm not in my 20s, but I'm not in my 50s or 60s either. There's a lot of agents retiring out of this business. And as anything, you see a career that when someone's young and hopefully they're very passionate about their lives, anyone that's very passionate about life is the type of person you want as your agent. But when you have a younger agent that has a lot of energy and zeal for what they're doing, they can provide a lot of service. Now, there are agents that aren't fully invested in their career. So you want to make sure that your real estate agent is fully invested, full-time in the business. I see agents who, they want to do real estate and then they want to work a part-time job or a full-time job. And they can do that, but when I got into real estate, I wanted to serve my clients to the highest extent in a full-time manner, and I'm a burn the ships kind of person versus a haphazard approach. So biggest thing is make sure that your real estate agent is full-time, and then start asking them, okay, well, you're full-time, you're fully invested, what are you going to do to help me buy or sell? How are you going to structure the offers and negotiation? How are you going to market my property? Are you going to be running ads? Are you going to be doing the 3 P's, which are the standard P's of real estate, which is put a sign in the yard, pray that hopefully someone will come, and then also just put it on the MLS. And the experienced agent adds the 4th P to that, which is the push, to push the property to the open market.